permit?
Max Casbah insists. Civilization is coming to its end. Eon's gentle race. Mystics have lived on planet Zeon. Hidden in caves and rarely seen by the other Earthlings or aliens. And they have devoted their immortality to finding life. Life is an infinite process, so knowledge is riches. Lives have been identified and passed down to further generations. It continues to be that they tried to create another one of their ancestors. Time in an experiment they found out that all species are related. Somehow when it comes to renewing life in a soul. When it comes to renewing life in a soul, child is born. Somehow he wants power and control of the land for himself and nobody else. So mad or the rational reason. Other than selfishness, he manages to program the machine citizens of the cities who had long ago turned into robots, cyborgs, after developing their logic. With circuitry and plants and cybernetic engineering, just as the rest of the other 5 mystic alien hybrids had developed their emotions and their philosophical temperament. Robotic implants. This selfish, spoiled alien kid grew up to be Clar's Gecko, first the revolutionary alien lizard guat creature, because part of the Kadim alien lizard. Calvin asked Max. Clar's Gecko, first the revolutionary alien lizard guat creature, because part of the Kadim alien lizard family. Machines could be reprogrammed, but not free-thinking aliens or human beings. Some humans had evolved from alien ancestry, just like cyborgs were halfway related to humans before they became connected to cybertronic-ware, robotic implants. In some cases, computer circuitry modules could help rejuvenate dying parts of the human body. It's ironic that 5 generations of gentle mystics remain distantly related to an evil alien soul like Clar's Gecko. So this spoiled alien leader of the revolution, who inherited land from his distant Guat ancestors, decided to go on a crusade and see how much of Zeon he could conquer. They captured, just like it was a game to him, the competitive revolution. black sheep of a long-lost mystic tribe and collected all the robots for his army. He had planned to conquer all the land, to take everything for himself. This was the ancient alien prophecy for when Clark's Gecko grew up to be in charge of the galactic gangsters and almost powerful enough to rule Zeon alone. He tried to find the long-lost planet of the gnomes. Before the star cops went looking for it because it was his home. Originally, before he was banished to Zeon by the elders for bringing violence to a peaceful colony. Every now and then, 5 gentle mystics would return to the gnome colony for a brief sojourn. Ambassador business to Zeon, they were still key political figures in the Zeon Colony's government. Towns of artists suffer the most because they spend their immortality trying to perfect better artistic lives for humanity, where only competition is other artists. Or musicians like themselves are merely looking to explore more valuable original ideas. Why can't they help each other? All of a sudden a war tribe could come along and destroy that peaceful utopia. And in a moment, they suffer the most when the Clark's Gecko, notoriously greedy and galactic gangster, decides to take over everything, possess the museum in order to hoard all of this resources for himself, as well as corporate industries for control over the planet. It was a world domination in his hands when he had this robotic army to command. Death had never been overshadowing to his civilization, had developed from contemplating the infinite versus limitations of a physical world. The metaphysical world versus the spiritual world. Zeon's original citizens continued to exist as they did before. They heard of death ever since they mysteriously appeared in front of Clark's robotic army that took everything away from the peaceful philosophers. They never questioned whether or not they came from the universe or why they lived longer lifespans than most organisms until now. And if God created the universe when there was nothing there, or was it a time always circular, then what created God? Or did God create himself or herself? The universal spark of energy that started the Big Bang in the first place. Since God and science has to coexist to answer this question, the sole purpose was to preserve knowledge. The main question that these gentle 5 mystics, as well as the artists of the gnomes, continue to contemplate is why do they exist continuously? Where did they come from, yeah? What planet of the gnomes sent Crimson Sunflower to be banished on Zeon's prison colony? It's the source of the story. Why do they torment me with dreams over and over again about making a movie on my old college campus, walking up a hill, the green, mysteriously haunted forest, and the stage where anyone can act out their fantasies, but unfortunately reality is looming harsher than that. It slaps you in the face when you try to face it on its own terms. Clark's Gecko's first name came from his elder ancestor, who had originally claimed Zeon for his mining colony. Clark's the first order to do so, he had killed all of the artists and original thinkers, architects, poets that he had borrowed so much knowledge from. Now he did not know how to repair his city, and once it got to the end, his ultimate nightmare was that he had conquered everything. Oblivious to the problems of Zeon and the outside world beyond the caves. Yeah, that's where they were safe. In the heat of the desert, the neon green storm of pecan green, paisley amoeboid, and the landmarks of the society that the others had made remain vacant when Lars and his robots weren't occupying them. These testaments to another civilization's accomplishments. He had his army destroy everything on Zeon except the knowledge of the General Five Mystics. Since they remained hidden, he couldn't find them because the ancient mystics hid in their precious writings for more civilized race now to explore and interpret whatever they were disciplined enough to be peaceful and not violent or selfish about it. Whoa, that's when the time came. The right time comes around, realizing he had nothing but the destruction of a ravished town and the end of a desert left to deal with, that he had left caused Lars had killed himself.
There's nothing left to conquer now.
Because the dictator declared there was nothing left to conquer. There's nothing more left to conquer. Lars had killed himself. Because the dictator declared there was nothing left to conquer. There's nothing more left to conquer. That's it for me. Grow wild. There's nothing. Outside the world in the heat of the neon desert. Is left with his machine army. Outside the world in the heat of the neon desert. We're oblivious to problems of beyond, outside of their mountain cave.
I worry about money in order of their highly advanced civilizations when they were competing against the country.
Where's your death? That dream, where you die in a dream. And I recorded these audio dramas like that.
No, it's not through the psychological feature that you get there, through the violence of the only through the metaphysical transformation of death. That you're able to rejoin the cosmic forces of peaceful spiritual energies. And there's no more need for violence. Preventing.
I don't want to hurt you, no. I don't want to hurt you. Back off. We've been tested by the trials and tribulations of mortality. A symbiotic relationship until a symbiotic relationship is formed or the planet is alive and self-aware. I don't want to hurt you, alien lizard gwats. In order to function, but individuality and artistic freedom of expression is what we need to set us free from economic slavery. Yes, we must. Because when censorship starves humanity with ignorance, that is the definition of insanity. At the mercy of the majority, we are not at the beehive mentality, but we know we aren't robots, even though we're expected to become like them to satisfy the demands of mass production. I don't want to hurt you. Back off. Your separate ways. I'm just seeking the ancient wisdom of the mystic Maroon Man on Mystic Mountain. Don't want to hurt you. Back off.
Rhyme must be constantly tested by the trials and tribulations of mortality.
Scientists are being silenced by ignorance. Taking advice from you is like watching the pot call the kettle black all day long.
Outside the world in the heat of the neon desert. With these questions and ongoing answers of the gentle fiber mystics remained hidden within the very rock that they all once stood upon. Sealed away in a cave with a gargantuan monkey fist of a boulder at the entrance, which was struck and stuck into the side of an ancient mountain. Up on top of the sparkling psychedelic hill, there through the glowing forest and grass trees, many colors, some had never even been invented yet, and then every single blade, infinite varieties. Testaments to the evolution, the wealth of sacred secrets, passageways in the mountains. Around the mirror and over the lakes of blood, past the death, past the weapons, past the armory, and past the walls, where no man owns everything and no one owns anything. Follow the sound of your soul's rainbows, where all of beauty exists for everyone to enjoy, not just the privileged. It's a place where all of our manufactured goods exist to be shared and not possessed through the broken chatter of television's parasitic mind control that feeds the corporate fascism instead of individual empowerment. All that makes us compete against each other instead of help one another, evolve for monetary gain. where all beauty exists, well, past its will, for everyone to enjoy, not just the privileged. It's a place where everything is shared and not possessed through the broken shatter of corporate environment that's the control that slows down the soul under the eternally seductive talking chairs out of the me universe and into the united truth, out of the cacophony of mankind's inventions and out of the dissident tones. We're longing for something refreshing and not too unpredictable, but not too synthetic, not too natural, but not too restrained, not too monotonous, but not too boring either. Away from the wreckage of the blue dream where our past, present, and future are all the same. There's a bad land and the band, the neon gypsies, where we can make anything happen and it's all within our grasp. In the caves where one can live alone long enough to realize how precious people are. There lies a man, there lives a man with a big blue hat, who keeps all of his wisdom in there, waiting to be revealed to all that he is free. To all that is free. He wears the face of you and me, metaphorically. He knows that nothing is concrete, and we can all agree by loving life in order to live better while we're here. And maybe pigs do fly if you want them to, and chairs talk if they need to, and skies live around you with the breath of the wind, and you can live in another dimension with the breath of the wind, and in a cloud colony. Yeah, or a toy space station that maybe becomes a pencil sharpener for larger aliens, or within a stereo mechanism land on top of a colored flower and a light shower and a moonbeam with a cloud as your house, and a pen as a microscopic amoeba, or inside of a gigantic mountain alongside Toyland, or anywhere in the land of your choosing. That's where I want to go. That's where I want to be free. The imagination is the only place for me. Crimson thought to himself before he... In the neon heavens, where the barter system is based on cosmic visions, if there were no such thing as an economy limited by money, then you would have endless opportunities for creativity, and nobody would have to be hungry if we shared ideas for better living through organic chemistry and science. If the nonconformists will listen to my solution, then maybe more will join the peaceful mental evolution, and the possibilities of mind over matter are infinite. For me, Crimson thought to himself before he awoke. We'll go to the distant regions of Gnome Star 7 before he awoke. Crimson Sunflower felt at home in the mystic Zen Den district because it was on the outskirts of Zeon, beyond Starcop jurisdiction, where he could explore his soul and not have to live under the fear of mind control. Even though he had to bear the weather when he was finished following his two mysteriously dressed hooded friends, they led him to a maroon mountain, and he knocks 3 times on the rock at an indentation on the side of the mountain, opened up like a camel.
He had to bear the weather. When he was finished following his 2 mysteriously dressed hooded friends, they led him to a maroon mountain, and he knocks 3 times on the door. 3 times on the rock, and an indentation on the side of the mountain opened up like a camouflage door. A camouflage door. A Crimson was sure nobody has seen before, else maybe he had seen it in his mind. Maybe he had seen it in his mind. Had seen it in his mind. Knocked 3 times on the rock and an indentation on the side of the mountain opened up like a camouflage door. Crimson was sure nobody else he knew had ever seen there before. They went into a room and lit a candle. People can't be mistaken when they speak the truth. They're misunderstood and alienated when they only want to do good.
Plastic dashboard for a moment. They went into a room and lit a candle. Which sat on a round marble table as the stone door be closed behind them. Omeron sat down in front of the candle and then uncovered his bald head when he pulled down his robe, purple hood. As Crimson had looked over to their left and began to recognize the other one.
Left and began to recognize the other one. The words that were written by ancient mystic prophets engraved into the mountain walls, which read, "Whomever tries to make nature illegal is a fool." Crimson walks up to his old friend Omeron and says, "Can you make a person illegal, Manuel? It's no need to prolong the inevitable. What the government treats us like we're slaves, or a barcode and a symbol of how much money they can make and exploit us to their own greedy corporate gain. Well, can you do something to improve the spirituality, or were we slaves to these inventions? Well, what are you doing here? Why? There's no need to prolong the inevitable. Why are you so far from the known planet? Is everything all right?"
Is everything all right?
Crimson frantically asks Omeron. There have been some developments, Omeron replies in a somber tone. "I returned from my son. You might remember him as Shadow Man. No, yes, we were friends. Lost contact over the son. You might remember him as Shadow Man. No, yes, we were friends." Crimson says optimistically, "I wondered what happened to him since he had accidentally lost contact over the years, you understand."
Well, he was found homeless on the streets of Zeon last week, unconscious, and nearly dead. He almost drank himself to death because he couldn't make a living at his dreams, since he had no resort. Had to resort to working regular jobs to pay the bills. It drove him really ill. But no matter how hard he worked, and he was a good hard worker, he had worked by so many corporations and been bullied into submission, and how many times he had tried to employ himself. He couldn't make enough money to survive alone. God bless his soul. All he wanted to be was a musician. So he played as many instruments. Why, I remember. How we first learned to appreciate music was Scottish curiosity. He went on to win instruments were his fate. Band, but it was too late. Capitalism only wore wards for greed. I thought I could protect Shadow Man by letting him live under our shelter and counterculture waves. We were. Remember? Oh, a long time ago. Yes. I taught him the flute, and that's how we first learned to appreciate musical Scottish curiosity. He went on to win instruments were his favourite. I wanted to offer him a position on Lone Star 7 with our band, but it was too late. Capitalism only wore wards for greed. I thought I could protect Shadow Man by letting him live under our shelter and counterculture waves. We were hiding him there, but we had an argument because he wanted his independence, of course, so you can't blame him for that. He ran off last week. Nobody had seen him since we just heard they found him. Now the government is trying to take away our son. We cannot visit him where they're holding him because it's forbidden. Nobody has seen him since they found him. Have you? That's terrible. We need to rescue him, or I'll do it incognito. That's why we'd like you to reconsider returning to the Gnome Kingdom Utopia. Did you say anything to the Star Corps? No, they pushed me, but I remain vague. Remember when Chester Cloud poured high-power rocket fuel on his parents' rooftop and lit it on fire just to prove how he could control the boundaries of reality? He could have burned his parents' house down, but instead he just punched down on the flame on the roof from outside of an upstairs window and blew it out like it was nothing. In one breath, like it was no problem at all. Everyone else thought he was punishing his parents for rebellion by trying to burn the house down, but no. It was but I always knew that he was just testing the boundaries of reality with his intelligence. It's too bad that he crashed into our new planet. Maybe it was a result of anxiety or a mission taking over, where intelligence could not compensate. Hold your breath and contemplate, hold your breath and contemplate. The blade. Well, if animals have such pure, innocent souls, like the scriptures expect us to treat kindly, then why do mouse parents eat their own babies and tigers rip people to shreds, even when their every need is provided for? Crimson Sunflower, the enemy asks Omeron, the great philosopher. We're supposed to worship animals and not harm them, even when they threaten to harm us.
To worship animals and not harm them, even when they threaten to harm us. You ask, guys. So it can be good or bad. Even in the animal kingdom, it all just depends on who's judged. Even though our galaxy of dimensions scriptures tells us we shouldn't judge others or we run the risk of ourselves becoming judged by the wrong person or worse. Someone with no understanding or compassion for others should not be the judge of anything. Some say that they should be put in charge of anything or everything, but even that is a logical judgment.
Omniscient vibrations of God and infinite particles. We're all part of. We're all cosmic crusaders in this galaxy of dimensions, looking for a resting place in space, amongst the knowledge of the dead spirits and millions of ancient alien races. I listen and I look for the cosmic dimensions.
In the universe!
In the universe.
Yeah! Look for... I can't wait to get back to the Gnome Star 7 sector and revisit my old friends on the Gnome planet. But I might be disappointed, and maybe we can take Shadow Man with all to this time if he wants to be saved. From Zeon's industrialization, we'll sing about new ideas that fit. There is the real enemy.
Right.
Consciousness connects us all like omniscient vibrations of God is a good part of us. Look, I can't wait to get back.
Gnome Star 7.
Gnome Star 7 sector. Revisit my old friends on the Gnome planet. I might be disappointed. Maybe
take Shadow Man with us.
Take Shadow Man with all.
To be saved.
This time, if he wants to be saved. From Zeon's industrialization. We'll sing about new ideas that fit. Fear is the real enemy. So why don't you set yourself free? Fear is the real enemy.
So why don't you set yourself
free? It will help us rebuild reality. Why don't you set yourself free? Help us rebuild reality. Why don't you set yourself free and we'll help us rebuild reality? The more we explore fantasy. Do you remember when we seemed like gods to the goldfish in their tanks? Be careful not to tap too hard on the atmospheric walls of our proverbial fish tank. Unless you're prepared for the consequences when you rock the boat. If we are all like the fish gods and we control the temperature in their tanks, what's to stop an alien from manipulating our weather conditions and adjusting life on Zeon? Or exploiting the resources on who's to say whether or not they did it already and that it's in Earth's past and caused them to destroy themselves and civilizations lost. When things weren't shared equally, we need to be careful with our inventions. When walking through the multicolored forest of sprinkles and waterfalls and the cosmic supernova stars that are bursting into reactions like tasty flavors in God's mouth. Contemplated crimson speculate. Fiction, we try to avoid self-free and will help us rebuild reality. The more we explore fantasy. Do you remember remember when we tried to avoid judgment, but it haunted us. We can't have a society without rules. Society without rules. Then our muscular mystic speaks up and joins in with the round table of modern philosophers. His name is Bruticus, and he represents the Philosophical Council as Zermaeron's bodyguard.
Crimson, we tried to avoid judgment, but it haunted us. We can't have a society without rules.
Muscular mystic speaks up and joins in with... Let me ask you this, Fergus. Is your job to control changes in our society due to nature? Or does it go with the flow of the time and change? If we put standards on change and everything, then we might be smothering destiny and what was bound to happen by natural laws anyhow. We are all part of nature, so because of the connection with the changes in our environment, we must not act as if we are above nature, or by trying to control it. We're dependent on nature for our lives, just like we're dependent on change for our crops to grow food and survival. If there was no need, no change, we would have no variety and with no more diversity and less choices for options or opportunities. We are left with the shell of society.
Journeyman, you forget one thing, Crimson. Out of his loud, overpowering tone of voice, we are responsible for all that which we create, and if we don't put standards on what we can develop, then unpredictability might get out of hand, and this might change our position and control if it's not natural. Liquid people don't have to panic because they are organic and live in different underwater environments unless the two-faced plastic people corrupt their ponds with synthetic materialism from the waters. The pollution, plastic people are hypocritical. But they don't mean any harm. They're like Claus Gecko's robot armies without a program, without an agenda. They just do what they are told. They can't help it because they don't realize how their existence is an inconvenience to organic life. Or intelligence realizes that they would look at us like they are parasites. So it's not necessarily good. They just try to survive also. And would not should be forced to compete against our own inventions. It's already hard enough to compete against nature to survive. Now we're competing against our own inventions. And they'll just try to survive also. But if the boats rusted in their energy output pollutants, then they would say that it's just because they were built that way. And couldn't help it. Plastic people feel like urban sellouts instead of liquid people. They think that they have a right to build on land which wasn't theirs in the first place. And that they paid for with their space credits while liquid people struggle to hard. The currency didn't even have as much to no more. In order to earn more space credits to be able to afford their land in Zeon Colony, much like ancient Earth. You have to buy your freedom financially. But it's expensive, and the cost of living is raised every field. It's seemingly by a secret society and those greedy corporate investment banker aristocrats whose only agenda is world domination. Even if you could afford to buy your own freedom, you are still at the mercy of those few rich elite who make all of the decisions. The people want to know how to escape persecution, being economic slaves and exploited by greedy corporations. But you just said yourself. But you just said. But you just said yourself that unnatural change develops from control. If this is so, then we must eliminate the control factor. Don't you see? If we did that, Crimson gentlemen, then all we have worked to create, all of our hard labor for society will be swept away with your natural change. And we run the risk of losing everything if we don't fight for it.
on me. That's what must be avoided: misguided judgment, misunderstanding. Change is not mine to control or possess. One mustn't be so carried away that they think they can control all of nature when creating a society. Change is part of a nature, because that's the beauty of it. So just like change, beauty cannot be controlled. It must be free to flourish and linger in the mind's eye. Beauty doesn't survive when it's being forced under certain conditions for another's selfish enjoyment. Like a child with a pet brought in from the wilderness to store in a synthetic environment that doesn't know how to behave anymore. Beauty is meant to be shared to set people free so positive vibrations of enlightenment can grow once new insights can be reached with others. Yes, but this pet can be controlled with conditions and a fear of strict environment. Perdiccas plays the devil's advocate. When you control an animal, you deny it the natural instinct for needs for survival or freedom and happiness. You would consider that a need for survival. Every organism needs to be free to decide its own destiny. The nature of change in this connection with the chaos of unpredictability is part of an animal's beauty. Mankind and aliens have been racing against time and more primitive species to learn how to control the environment for years. The technological ability to control the weather would be the next stage of evolution. Nobody has been able to gain that power alone, thank God. No one person alone should have that much power. Whoever wins the race to develop weather control technology would rule the world. But they could annihilate the planet also, since this nature's fury amidst climate changes and storms can be as devastating as atomic bombs. Well, what's more important here now at this meeting? Military spending by the Zeon government continues to make the economic crisis worse by raising the cost of living exponentially and expecting citizens to pay off the previous generation's debt by working their lives away for the next corporation and on next to nothing in order to cut industrial expenses. How long do you think that people will go on working and suffering once they realize that they are being forced to pay off the government's debt? Several people are starting to realize how they're being exploited, and some are even forming groups against us or any other organization that they decide possesses a threat to their beliefs. Foreign policy is more important to the Zeon government, but domestic issues are more relevant to our economy. Meron interjects. There are many conflicts here on Zeon. We need to get back to our utopian society in order to discuss these new developments privately and safely, securely. Discuss these new developments privately and safely, securely. There's a small fire burning in the center of the cave. Smoke goes up and swirling, ventilation shaft, cone like a small volcano that leads to the top of the mountain. Almost everyone falls asleep in their seats while staring at the hypnotic bonfire, eventually after a long night of philosophical discussions.
The mystics had warned the Star Cops about when and where O'Main and Kara's Gecko would return in order to give them time to prepare for war, where they need be to secure the hiding spots and the sacred resting place of the scriptures when they would strike next. That's why the Star Cops, Time Patrol, had the upper hand before. There was a deal made with the mystic ambassadors for safe passage back to their utopian society. Blaze and his men of the Star Cop Force were so successful with the retaliation because the mystics had let them know that what to expect in exchange for political asylum. That way, the utopian Gnome Kingdom was protected from galactic gangsters so they could remain peaceful and safe while the Star Cops were able to catch O'Main and his terrorists when he has temporarily escaped in the past again, only to be caught inevitably in the future. For now, unfortunately, O'Main remains in a parallel universe.
remains in a parallel universe. As nearly everyone fell asleep in the Wise Men's Mountain Cave, Crimson and Omeron were the last two awake.
What's your next move when you see that Star Cop representative who dropped you off yesterday? Remember, if he asks about me, Omeron says before Crimson finishes his sentence. I don't know, you're right, I get it. Well,
I've always wanted to return to
my real
my
homeland, where my ancestors were born.
You might just be
just as disappointed with what you find on Earth in your own time as what's here on Zeon. Omeron stresses with stern emphasis right before they both lose consciousness while staring at the magic fire in the mountain for its natural chimney heating system.
The magic fire in the mountain for its natural chimney heating system. The next day, they all awoke to find Bruticus's bloody body lying at the foot of the mountain. It looked like he threw himself over a ravine. There was a suicide note, which basically said he couldn't take the pressure anymore of worrying about every little decision affecting everyone's budget and feeling like he had control over the whole last survival of the entire humanity, and feeling like he was going to die anytime the aliens catch him, and there are no Star Cops there to protect him. He felt that there was no point going on and alone like that anymore. About alienation, he felt like it was only a matter of time anyway before they found out he was an important informant for the other side, and even though his fellow mystic friends would murder him, the shame of being stunned and shunned from their society was too sacred for Bruticus to ignore anymore. They couldn't understand why he would try to destroy a society that he helped build, but they knew he still hadn't given the Star Cops their hidden utopian Gnome Kingdom secret location. He was at a crucial point in trading information, but he managed to do just enough bargaining to get them their alien terrorist, while preventing the Star Cop Paradox Patrol from finding the Gnome's hidden utopian retreat of the society. If he'd have stayed around a little longer, he might have risked giving up all of their ancient secrets. Some of the mystics considered it a noble act of self-sacrifice. Others felt betrayed, but Crimson didn't know what to think about what Bruticus did to end his life so abruptly. Maybe it was a cowardly thing to do, or maybe he thought it was the only way out in a last desperate attempt to escape such an impending situation of judgment instead of facing the Star Cop trials. This was the easy way out, but solutions had to be found in order to encourage others to remain free, to improve their own realities. Dead. You're dead. Crimson Journeyman screams out into an unresponsive body as he looks over the ravine at Bruticus's remains. Oh no! How could this be? Why would Bruticus do such a thing? Bruticus, you were full of hope to change your environment, and I may not have realized it then, but now I know you were right. Now you've destroyed all hope of your cause by killing yourself. One thing I don't understand is how all of the others I sent on the journey to face their fears in the subconscious came back seeing only the broad, limitless possibilities in infinity once they faced death. But you, Bruticus, you came back from the metaphysical journey only seeing the limits and limitations of nowhere to go and ignorance. That's what caused your never-ending fear. Was there no mystery on your journey? Ah! How did you get here so soon? Why didn't I see you come in, Rendlin? Here, Crimson asked, but he's startled. Rendlin said,
I hid when you came in. The old short man says,
as he approaches his eyeglasses closer to his nose,
I didn't want you to think I killed my esteemed comrade, Bruticus. I'm paying my respects. We've known each other all our lives. I tried to stop him, but like anything else he did, Bruticus was dead set on his intent.
Once he made up his mind, nothing could stop Bruticus or change his way of thinking. Then why would he have not been as dead set on his fight for standards?
He felt defeated, you see. All of his life he'd been a part of Bretchard's army. He was born after Bretchard had captured your society with the Gwats to help save your race. And that would explain why there was no mystery for him. Bretchard's army never stopped, when they went everywhere and everywhere, you see. Bruticus just followed Bretchard's orders all without question until you came along and influenced with him to question things, and if the whole army broke apart, he had nothing else to do before he joined our mystic council of philosophers. He was comfortable with Bretchard's soldiers because they stayed in this one spot to enslave their society, and that's all he knew of existence. So once there was nothing left to conquer, he panicked.
He felt defeated, you see. You can't blame me for teaching him how to think for himself by questioning things, or if he already knew that all along. He did that on his own, of course. Without intrigue, there would be no feeling of broad possibilities left over from the unknown mysteries in the subconscious.
Well, whenever he wanted to learn something, he just did it. Well, whenever he wanted to learn about anything, he devoted himself completely to it. And what he learned was fighting, so that led him to being a part of the army. Those were the standards he became a part of. It came to a point where the limits of the army was all he knew. The only difference I noticed in Bruticus after he returned from his journey was that he had a much, much more positive outlook on change. Whereas before he was constantly complaining of boredom and had a negative attitude about everything in his society.
Picking a fight is too easy for people like Bruticus. But looking back down from a person who continues to provoke in order to persecute you and deciding not to fight, especially when you know you can, that's the hard part. Our society was new to him, of course. Maybe while he was sent on his journey, he was forced to look at everything in his life objectively, and he realized that something could be learned from his limits. A very limited subconscious might have forced him to look at the surface of his life, which was full of negativity because of confining limits. But these limitations were what made him strong. There has to be some concrete facts or barriers in order to have something to depend on. He couldn't help but being positive in our society since it was so full of flourishing possibilities, which was such a difference from his previously controlling environment. Maybe the whole point of this colony is to have somewhere for aggressive people to go, while keeping fragile, peaceful people separate for their own safety, but have outgrown this vicious landscape. Once there is no more need for competition, then there is no more need for violence or aggression. If anyone else develops an interest in fighting competition or aggression while living in our peaceful utopia, then we should consider sending him or her to the Zeon Colony for a Star Cop training. They would be more useful there as Zeon, instead of a peaceful environment anyways, where there's no violence for them to contain or control. Boredom causes frustration, and that leads to rebellion. I can see people's potential. We shouldn't assign people where they don't belong, or they won't care enough to want to contribute to that work anyway. I can see how the puzzle pieces form this picture. People who stay in one place for too long get too preoccupied with routine and too settled for their own ways for them to accomplish much, reach out, or try something new. We should give everyone equal opportunities to try what they might be interested in, of course, but I never like to waste my time doing something I'm not good at when there are other skills that I could be working on perfecting. Everyone makes their own choices, obviously, and it's good to reconsider things you might not have liked before when evaluating what's best for you, as long as you find a purpose that makes you happy. It's for you, and what's the meaning of life? To find a purpose for yourself. It just varies based on what degree or speciality that you want to focus on in your purpose for your purpose.
Then, when individuals decide her own purpose after being exposed to as many options as possible, it all lies in finding the balance between specific functions from a common peaceful atmosphere of relaxing.
Thank you.
Gnome Shaw 7 sector and revisit my old friends on the Gnome.
Reality.